It really is a group effort here for me. Maybe for you, it's you're receiving or and just being in yourself, which is hopefully what is taking place. But for me, it's what happens is that I just love to feel into everybody here because it's a live it's a live meeting and includes all of us together co-creating what wants to come forth. So make sure to sit back and into yourself. Excuse me, it'll my voice will clear up. So taking the backwards step, as I like to say, and the one seat. The one seat is sitting within yourself, occupying yourself, feeling your chair, your spine, and landing in your body, allowing mind to settle and sink down into the body. And just see what's taking place there. Just notice a little fluttering or anticipation or whatever is happening. Maybe a little clenching in the gut or relaxation in general. You just notice. You take the inner weather pattern into account. And then the noticing, see if it can merge into allowance, allowing. So you're noticing and you're also in the allowance by your noticing. Allowance meaning allowing it to be as it is within, as you are. Whatever's taking place. However busy or quiet the mind is, the temperature of the room, how your body feels. Noticing is that part of us that is in allowance. So you're not doing allowance, it's just you're noticing and noticing itself in effect is free of what it's noticing. And within that, what it's noticing is simply allowed to be as it is. They merge and converge, but that's kind of what's happening. There's an aspect that is aware of itself, and what it's aware of is the content, what's taking place. And it gives the content a chance to relax and not be messed with, pushed away, or overly focused on. It's just this alive noticing. It's not a so much a cool witnessing. It's a noticing with heart, noticing with heart. The allowance is warm and generous, kind, non-judgmental, because there's nothing that it's noticing that is wrong or bad. It's just simply what it is. You might hear some acorns hitting my roof. Noticing the sound, any sounds. And see if your breath is relaxing and deepening, just naturally. Allow it to sink. Your breath as well has a chance to deepen and occupy more of the space that it touches. Maybe a sigh wants to happen, just maybe some movement, gentle adjustments. Your inner landscape contains so much information, so much wisdom. It doesn't lie. It gives you information as to what's going on inside. And right now, you're simply noticing it and touching on it lightly with allowance. Allowing something to be really gives it a chance to relax and harmonize whatever's taking place without expectation. And that's just the way that works. And if there's some uncomfortableness, noticing that, that's allowed to be uncomfortableness here or there, maybe a little bit of pain inside or sadness, just noticing that. We're a multiverse inside, so many musical notes, deeper than interpretation. There's this sensing of what's going on, deeper than words, a movement of energy. So give yourself some time to allow some inner harmony to take place. It's a beautiful practice. To whatever degree you can. No pushing. And just know that whatever you're sensing and feeling is healing, even if it's a bit much, if it is. Because sometimes when we finally rest inside and get quiet and allow the inner landscape to reveal itself, it can get a little noisy at first because it's been waiting for attention. It'll quiet down. And an inner singing kind of starts to take place, sort of inner singing of notes. A little dissonance, a little harmony, a little screechiness, a little bit of a low tone. And it's wisdom that is creating its own way back to center. Maybe a little jangled here and there. But you're noticing, right? You're noticing. This noticing is awareness. So you're placing your awareness on what's taking place inside. And if it's a little too much, you can step back a bit with the noticing and have it be a little more cool, just a little bit more cool. You don't want to be scared, acting out of fear and withdraw, but just if it's too much, you just kind of take a step back into having it be a little more neutral noticing. And if you feel compelled and curious and able, you can step in with more warmth of noticing. So it's more of a noticing, touching it, touching what it's noticing, leaning in. It's very alive. So this in itself is a meditation. something to grow in the ability if you are wishing to help the body settle and to be congruent within the body. And to drop the ideas of something being wrong, like what's being noticed feels uncomfortable, perhaps. Uncomfortable is simply uncomfortable. It's not wrong and bad in itself. It's just unknown. Uncomfortable is the unknown. You know how ducks will shake after they've had a little incident? They'll shake it out. That's what we're doing internally is releasing by allowing ourselves to be as we are. We give permission for release to happen. And supporting inner stasis, more neutrality. What is unconscious will clamor for attention. What we deny and push away clamors for attention. And it'll cover over what it is that we're wanting spiritually to be in sync with ourselves. What's noisy always gets the attention, doesn't it? So this is a chance to allow whatever is taking place to have a moment, have its moment. It has a voice. And not everything will be accomplished today, but it's a start. Or just a reboot. So noticing is presence, right? Noticing is awareness in its free state, empty state, touching on what it's noticing in its full state, full of feeling, full of nuance, full of intelligence. And we're both. And over time, it becomes so natural to have noticing be an allowance of what it's noticing, of what is, that it becomes seamless. And that's called non-dual realization. That's how it shows up in the body, mind. So then it's just this seamless now moment that's presenting itself one with, one with. This is what's going on. This is what's being felt. This is the inner state. This is what it's noticing on the outside and noticing on the inside. What allows for this really is love. Because love cares for itself and it doesn't want to turn away from anything. It doesn't say no, you can't exist, this feeling can't exist, or it just needs to learn how to be with itself through practice, how to rest, how to allow. And go deeper than labels, because labels, we have the categories inside, right and wrong, good and bad, yes and no. This is allowed, this isn't. Being uncomfortable is in the generally in the unallowed category. But we're going deeper than that. That's called duality. We're going deeper into the landscape of no right, wrong, simply sensations, movements, energies. And if a word comes up like sadness, because that's how we know something sometimes, that's okay. And just allow that word to float away and experience the sensations of what was labeled as sadness. What does it feel like? What tones does it have? So you're touching on what you contain inside. So it's not such a unknown, not unknown in terms of labels and known of the mind, but known in terms of being open to, receptive to, willing. And why am I walking us through this kind of type of sensorial meditation? Because it's part of our topic. It weaves into it. You want to get to the heart of your true intentions. You need to be able to Meet yourself internally and support yourself so that what you contain isn't what's guiding, so that any disturbance you contain or any unmet internal need to give attention to something that's unresolved is what's guiding. A betrayal, loneliness, a hurt, all those things that all of us have experienced and experience just by being human. Fear, meeting fear as an energetic signature, so healing. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be. It doesn't have to be all done, but it wants to be done enough so that there's some space, some room inside, an opening. See if you can find a little opening in the midst of this exercise within yourself. A little opening. It might just be an attention, paying attention, the capacity to pay attention. Curiosity, some space that has room to include something, include more. Because if we don't have room to include more, that means that there's a lot of attention that wants to be placed, and you can do so during your coming days. If the island of you is over full and there's no room to have a garden, to plant some new plants, then you need to make space. And in order to do that, you have to give attention to that which is hungry for it. That's how you make space, because things then harmonize and neutralize and say, ah, thank you. Thanks for giving attention. And it moves out of the sphere of need. So that question, what do I really want? We want that question to come from a place of openness and curiosity.